Hello and welcome to Madills Farm for round 9 of the ISPS HANDA Premiership. It's the gridlock derby as Eastern Suburbs host reigning champions Auckland City. Not the best day here in the city of sails, grey skies about and a little bit of rain, and you can hear it, the wind, as these crosstown rivals go head to head for the second time this season. Auckland City coming out on top back in November. Contentious game that one was. I'm Narelle Sindos, alongside me Jacob Spoonley, former Auckland City and former All Whites goalkeeper, but I understand he will be unbiased this afternoon. Jacob.
Kia ora everybody, great to be here. Yeah, you wouldn't have guessed that there was America's Cup sailing going on yesterday. The weather has definitely turned on us here at Madills Farm today.
Yes, it has, but you wouldn't really expect anything less. It's the typical Auckland day here. A lot riding on this match, though. Coming into the round, Auckland City atop, Eastern Suburbs are fourth, just inside the playoff spot. But Eastern Suburbs, Jacob, back-to-back losses in the competition, a bit of a shock to the system. Yeah,
not the best way to start off the new year from Eastern Suburbs. They finished it very well against Hamilton Wanderers with that 2-1 result. Ryan Foyt's coming up with both the goals of that day. And then going down to Canterbury United and Hawke's Bay. So definitely looking to bounce back here against a team that's rather disappointed they're not heading off to the Club World Cup.
Yeah, that was such a big shame as we take a look at the starting lineup, starting with the host Eastern Suburbs and what we can make it. 3 changes to the lineup from last weekend. Captain Adam Thomas is back in after serving his suspension. Jaden van der Heijden gets his first start of the season. Jake Michelle's up front, and there was a late change. Josh Rogerson was supposed to be starting, but he got injured in the warm-up, so Stafford Dowling is in for him. And Auckland City, one change to the team that defeated Hamilton Wanderers 2-1. Mario Illich, who picked up a red card, is serving a 1-game suspension. So in comes Albert Riera, of course, the vastly experienced player, former Wellington Phoenix midfield maestro, and Auckland City have quality across the park. Jacob, a pretty established starting lineup.
Oh, they've got wonderful depth, and in particular, very impressive for this competition. The one battle that I'm looking forward to today is Reed Drake against Yusuf Al-Khalisi. Both very mobile midfielders, really combative in the way they play, and both also bring quality on the ball to the respective teams' games. So that, for me, should be a battle that we'll keep an eye on.
And the referees today, led out by Ben O'Connell, and his assistants, Reza Al-Raiba, Torres Yuming Chang, and the fourth official today, Charlie Singh. And if we can expect the similar encounter from what we saw in November, expect there to be a lot of drama, hopefully not too many injuries this time round. And it's just a delay to the start and play here at Madills Farm. Players ready to go. Auckland in the navy blue, playing from left to right on your screens, as the wind's coming straight across into our commentary box. And we're underway here for round 9 of the ISPS HANDA Premiership. Eastern Suburbs looking to bounce back from their 2 consecutive defeats. Auckland City looking to get their 4th win on the bounce. Reed Drake does well to control that one there. Some quick football, but Cam Housen's making a nuisance of himself, and Suburbs have it back. Captain Adam Thomas back for his first match of the year after picking up a red card just before Christmas. The Lily Whites will be very happy to have him back, Jacob.
Especially playing in that central role today. We've talked about Auckland City's midfield, but Adam Thomas really adds experience and a quality to that pivot role that Eastern Suburbs do rely quite a bit on.
And Reed Drake swings the ball across. Thomas with a bit of time. Not the best touches on that one, as Eastern Suburbs look to go again. And as you touched on there, Thomas, we wouldn't usually see him playing in that role for Eastern Suburbs, but a late injury to Josh Rogerson, who would have taken care of that defensive midfield role. They've had to adjust the back, already carrying a number of injuries. The English striker Stephen Hoyle unavailable for this one. Calvin Carlua, their left back, unavailable. So they're making do with what they've got.
Yeah, that's right. Adam Thomas, not known to be playing defensive midfield for this Hoani Edwards Eastern Suburbs side, but he did play there quite a bit for Danny Hay. So it's that versatility that he's able to bring, and a bit of a Swiss Army knife approach.
And also nice that Eastern Suburbs haven't had to go elsewhere for recruits and replacements. Whereas I'm not sure if you've seen the news, Auckland City have recruited 2 internationals, Sam Brotherton and Kane Vincent, for the going into the business end of the season. Aren't available just yet though, but great additions from Jose Figuera.
Absolutely, and it's probably an addition that they can call upon not only for this season, but also with an eye to the upcoming change in format of the National League, which will start with those regional leagues, I believe in around about March and around. So that'll go in March to September if you qualify for the National League, and those 2 players, in Sam Brotherton and Kane Vincent, will add to this already impressive depth that Auckland City have. Kane Vincent obviously coming back from Thailand, where he spent so many years, and Sam Brotherton, Carolina, having played for the North Carolina Courage, rather.
Well, the team's just settling in here to Madills Farm. Alfie Rogers keeps that one in. Dylan Manicum, you can't miss him, just look out for the hair.
Oh, that's right. Both just going through a feeling out phase at the moment.
And Daniel Drake, I feel like he could play outfield actually. Jacob, you'll probably be good to talk about him, but very, very good with his feet.
Absolutely. I think we can claim that he learnt a lot from his senior goalkeeper whilst at Auckland City. So he's done wonderfully well for himself, having been established in that #1 role for Eastern Suburbs. Really, really rely on him quite heavily.
And Robbie Sabo releases Kingsley Sinclair, who darts into the box. May have got a bit too much on that one. Foyts was lining that up. And the danger's still not over for the Navy Blues. And Manicum's one possession in a dangerous area looking for the counter, but he's by himself at the moment. Has to go back for recruits, and Rogers just calming things down on the left-hand side there. Vale. Back to Mitchell. And Dan Edwards playing that attacking midfield role alongside Reed Drake, and Edwards had a lot of good opportunities the last time these two met in November. Just couldn't manage to put the final touches there.
I didn't get the ball that time, but Mohammed Awad is a player that has played for Eastern Suburbs in the past, this time playing on the navy blue of Auckland City. Plays with predominantly on the left, with his left foot rather, and looks to cut in on that right-hand side from Auckland City. Expect for him to get involved.
Suburbs going long on that occasion, giving away a free kick. Would you believe it though, Jacob? Eastern Suburbs have never beaten Auckland City in the ISPS HANDA Premiership. I couldn't believe it when I was going through my research last night.
Are you just showing off that you've done research there? No,
absolutely
that's not. No, it is. It's a phenomenal stat. Played 11 times, I believe. Auckland City have accumulated 29 points. Eastern Suburbs only 2. It's very hard to understand that being the case, isn't it? Given that Eastern Suburbs have won the National League.
Exactly right. But also, the Lily Whites' history in this competition doesn't go back too far as Ryan Foyts dances on the edge of the area, finds Edwards, who has a go. Great save there by the Auckland City goalkeeper, just parries it wide, and his teammates recover it for him. Sinclair. Ball whips in. A bit too much on that one as Vale will look to clear the danger. Finds Mohammed Awad, who gets round one. Some neat footwork there. Finds Cam Howison, the captain for Auckland City. Out to Manikim. As Auckland City push the bodies forward, and Howison's in the box with a shot across the face of goal. So, signs of danger from both teams now.
Absolutely, and that attack from Auckland City only comes after the foundation of the Cam Brown save. Great left hand from the big man in green in the Auckland City goal. Not much backlift there from Dan Edwards, I believe it was. So it would have been hard for the goalkeeper to get set. Gave himself a good foundation, managed to push it away, and then that resulted in that phase of play with a shot from Auckland City. So it's looking... I'm struggling with this a little bit. You expect the Auckland City side to be so well set up, but so far we've seen a bit of a porous backline from them, and they're not getting really much cover from the midfield. It looks like Al-Khalisi and Howison are quite happy to go pressing, but they're not necessarily getting back and doing that dirty work and covering the Eastern Suburbs runners as they start to look to penetrate through the Auckland City backline.
Well, they are missing Mario Illich, who has been a regular feature for them this season. Got sent off last week. So Albert Riera's come into the starting lineup. But again, the visitors taking a little while to get settled. We've seen chances at both ends of the park. No one able to break the deadlock just yet as the ball comes around to Ryan Foyts, who finds himself in a bit of space, shoots straight at Cam Brown. His 4th season at the club. And Lily White's looking good.
Oh, this left-hand side is on fire in this first 15 minutes. Ryan Foyts has been an ever-present danger for Auckland City, as he has been in the majority of games that I've seen him so far this season.
Drake looks to whip it back across in, and Jordan Vale gets his body in front of that one. Another corner.
I think it might have been a bit of a deflection there from that initial Cam Brown save that led to these 2 corners. He just pushed it wide, did not too certain about the ball as it made its way towards him.
And Eastern Suburbs trying something different. Neat footwork there from Ryan Foyts to get past Rogerson. And now a chance for a counter-attack from the visitors.
Oh, and here at Auckland City, they're very dangerous on this counter-attack. They've got Mohammed Awad on the back post here if Rogerson can find him.
Rogerson's got a lot of pace behind him. He whips one into the back post. Dan Edwards almost scores an own goal. A sigh of relief there, I think, from the men in white.
And Logan Rogerson there did well, held up the ball, was patient. But unfortunately, I think Mohammed Awad had given up in the opportunity, didn't make that run into the back post where Dan Edwards had, and I mean, it was a corner instead of a tap-in for the number 22 from Auckland City.
Oh, Khaleesi looks to be...
Oh, this is going to be a dangerous ball. Al-Khalisi's got a lovely right foot. He'll look to deliver this one, I think, into that near post, just in front of Dylan Manikim. And Daniel Drake needs to be careful, because even if Yusuf Al-Khalisi doesn't get the ball exactly where he wants it, that win is going straight into Daniel Drake's goal.
And a little bit of hustle and tussle inside the box. Referee just having a few words to the players. very, very condensed area that they're all in. As the ball comes in from Howison, Lily White's get their heads on that one. And they clear the danger, only to Vale, who will probably look to put it back in.
I think there was a missed opportunity there, Narelle. A right footer with the breeze at his back. Could have put the Eastern Suburbs backline under a lot of pressure there.
It's Howison. Looks to steady the ship. Alfie Rogers, Manikim. Retreating back to Brian Kautak. Captain of his national side, Vanuatu. Was actually on the score sheet last week. Superb in the air and very, very quick. As Reed Drake dispossesses Rogers on the far side. Awad wants it. We'll have to wait. As Howison drops back. Lily White's just being patient with this build-up here. Mitchell finds it on the right. It's Awad who will have a go himself. Khaleesi looks to return the favour. Awad hit the deck, but nothing to be concerned about from the referee. And Eastern Suburbs win a free kick. Albireira, I don't think there was too much on that one, Jacob.
Oh, I think that was a very smart foul by Albireira. Eastern Suburbs had two players breaking forward, and he saw Kingsley Sinclair there, had a lot of space if he got beyond Riera, and that is exactly what we expect from the experienced Spanish midfielder.
Referee wants to take it back here. Christian Gray. Gray looking to switch it up at the back. Long ball comes in. Rogers read that one nicely. And Auckland City have themselves a throw-in on the far side. Lily White's rather. Christian Gray pushing forward. No handball was the call. I don't think Cam Howson really knew too much about that one. Just wanted to get his body in front. Sabo looks to find Sinclair. He does so. Does enough. And Sabo will come up for the throw-in.
Helani Edwards is not happy with the tempo of the game so far. You can hear him on the sideline here at Madills Farm, wanting Eastern Suburbs to get that ball forward and then get it sideways a lot quicker than they have been doing. So he thinks there's room there to exploit against this Auckland City side who have kind of settled into the game. But there's still holes defensively. They don't have that structure that we would typically see from an Auckland City side here. So there are chances for Eastern Suburbs.
And you'd have to say it's vital for Eastern Suburbs to pick up the 3 points. They're just hanging in there in 4th place at the moment. Remember, the top 4 playoff and semi-finals and then the final. But they haven't managed to find the winning formula this year. They have been plagued by injuries and suspensions, which can't be easy for a team that only 2 years ago won the National League title. They want to get back to those heights.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing you need to take into account is the fact that they rely heavily on youth. So they're looking to give young players an opportunity to prove themselves at National League level. But if you've got a couple of injuries to experienced younger players, or even those older experienced players, if you will, then you have to really settle in the younger players that won't be used to playing at this level. And that takes time, and they'll also make mistakes. So you need to give them that sort of flexibility that they'll need. Also, I think there's a fairly thinly veiled attempt to bring Canterbury United back into the fray there, Narelle. You are right, though. Auckland City sit top with 16 points, and Suburbs at the moment sit in 4th with 11 points. So Canterbury United, also on 11, are nipping at their heels. They need to make sure they cement their place in that top 4.
Great play down the left-hand side there as Rogers looks for his teammate in the box. A great shot from Dylan Manikim straight at Daniel Drake, who didn't know too much about that one.
Absolutely superb placement there from Daniel Drake. His positioning was on the money. And as you say, didn't know too much about it, but he did everything to make sure that he could make the save.
And Auckland City will be kicking themselves. That's the best opportunity we've seen so far in the game. Dylan Manikin failed to put it either side of the keeper.
That's exactly right, Narelle. A bit more of a decisive touch, keeping it low, might have taken it past Daniel Drake, but as we said, he has cemented himself as the #1 here at Eastern Suburbs, and we just saw an example of why.
And Auckland City have the free kick. Al-Khalisi over the ball. Howison to take. Strong left foot. And Brian Caltech tried to keep it in, but a bit too much on that one. I think he's getting told off from his teammates there. There's Drake with the goal kick.
I'm not quite sure what he's supposed to do. He's heading towards the sideline at a great rate of knots, and his attempt to try and keep the ball in was rather unsupported by any of his teammates.
Well, it's been pretty even here at Madills Farm after the first 15 minutes. If you're just joining us, chances at both ends, but the best opportunity so far has fallen to Auckland City, who had a great shot, point blank range, but shot it straight at the keeper. But positive signs of things to come. As the ball comes over the top, Drake with a great touch almost gets dispossessed by Logan Rogerson, who releases Dan Edwards in the middle of the park.
Well, if this goes in, Daniel Drake should claim an assist. That was a wonderful piece of play, and Kingsley Sinclair has undone everything there, but what a touch.
He's pretty confident, Daniel Drake. Comes quite far out of his box as well. Wants to be involved as much as he can. As his counterpart, Cam Brown now, with a bit of the possession at the back, looking for a way through. Riera back to Mitchell. Rogerson coming back to help as Vale now on the right-hand side with Awad. And Eastern Suburbs have delayed the danger for now. Caltech looking for someone to make a run. Rogerson was on there, but Awad comes to collect.
Yeah, potentially a bit more conservative today. Auckland City appreciate that. If they do give the ball away, it might not come back as fast as it typically does against other oppositions. Eastern Suburbs are very comfortable in possession. And what's been interesting, Narelle, is the way the two teams are setting up defensively. Auckland City have looked to switch to a 4-2-3-1 with Al-Khalisi dropping in. Eastern Suburbs sticking with a 4-3-3. And the key thing about that is the way in which both sides are looking to make sure that they either pressure or stop the ball going into the fullbacks, which is where the width is for both sides playing a variation of a 4-3-3 in possession.
I like that word, variation. Spot on. Brown finds Howison. A nice wee dink out to Rogers. There's Rogerson now.
And we see there, that was the press from the Eastern Suburbs front three. So Sinclair, Foyts and Michelle all went forward, all went to try and press. It's a flat line. The ball got into the midfield, got popped out to Rogerson, which drew Reed Drake out from that midfield. So it's that structural integrity that Auckland City are trying to pry down.
And here comes the press again. Caltech under a bit of pressure. Awad. A nice one touch to Khaleesi, who wants to send it over, but a bit too much on that for Logan Rogerson. Dare I say, the wind playing a part. It looks like it's coming straight into our main camera on your screens there. Swirling around though, as we saw yesterday for the America's Cup, that got delayed and delayed and delayed. But anyways, we won't harp on about that. Rogers. No, I was working actually. As Riera looks to calm things down. Going back to Caltech. And you'll see this all day from Auckland City. Dominating possession, very, very patient and disciplined in the build-up. Protect the ball at all costs. As it comes out to Awad, who wasn't able to get the touch on that he wanted.
No, very disappointed. As we've said, a lovely technical player who does pride himself on those first touches, and that one definitely let him down.
Sabo to Edwards. Back to Van der Heijden, who's on the starting debut for Eastern Suburbs this afternoon. And There he is again, Drake. Sabo has a quick look up. Edwards just slips over there. There's Jordan Vale. Eastern Suburbs win the throw-in. Gray. Back to Van der Heijden. Ooh, Christian Gray, lucky on that occasion. Mohamed Awa just laughing to himself. He knows how close that was.
Oh, he was through on goal if Christian Gray didn't get that big toe in the way. But again, another example of how the wind is affecting play here at Madills Farm. Bobbly service, not getting the touch you'd expect.
Khaleesi now. Not wanting to go himself, but he gets it back here. Awad. Through to Khaleesi, who goes down, and referee awards a free kick.
It's just not smart defending from Dan Edwards there. Khaleesi didn't get his first touch right. He was looking for some contact to go down, and Dan Edwards gave that to him.
And Howison with the quick free kick. Awad somehow gets it back. Has a shot himself, but high and wide.
And that's the benefit of having a left-footed player playing down the right-hand side there. Mohamed Awad cutting inside. As soon as he did that, he was on his favoured left foot. You could see exactly what he was trying to do, trying to bend that ball into the top corner.
Gray. Back to Drake, who had some pressure from Rogerson. As Thomas is dispossessed by Dylan Manikim. He's got Rogerson out in front of him. Opts to go himself. Neat footwork. A few calls for a penalty, but I don't think there was too much on that one.
No, it looked like it was going that way, didn't it? You could see Dylan Manikim had cut inside. It looked like he was through on goal, about to unleash the shot, and Van der Heijden again just got a big toe on, as we saw Christian Gray moments before. So Eastern Suburbs with some perhaps unconventional defending, but really important touches here in the last few moments.
But you have to be so careful, don't you, in that box? You really, really can't afford a foot wrong, and we saw that in the November fixture.
Absolutely, absolutely. The risk is all on the defender, particularly defending in that 18-yard box.
As Reed Drake tries to keep that one in, unable to do so. As Eastern Suburbs look to get a bit of momentum back in their favour. As the sun's decided to come out here in Auckland. Great.
Oh, if you zoom out a little bit further, you can see some dark clouds there, so I'm not sure how long we're going to have that for.
Rogers now charging forward. It's a great run from Rogers. Scott Manikim in support. And looks to have just gone out on the far side.
Oh, this game's ebbing and flowing so far in this first half. Auckland City now very much on top. They're looking to bounce forward very quickly. And we made almost exactly the same comment about Eastern Suburbs. Getting beyond that midfield, being able to get at the back four, and that created chances that they weren't able to put away against Cam Brown. But Eastern Suburbs now finding themselves on the receiving end.
Most of Eastern Suburbs' goals this season have come just before half-time. I wonder if Auckland City know that.
Again, wonderful stats.
I've learnt from the best, Jacob.
But it is right. So Eastern Suburbs do have that high work rate. They stay in games for longer, which means that they do create opportunities when teams are tired towards the end of either the first half or very much so in the second half. So a test to see if Auckland City can withstand the pressure and particularly avoid that counter punch that Eastern Suburbs do possess.
Auckland City wanting to pass themselves out of danger here. As Mitchell wanted Vale, but didn't read that one. And now Eastern Suburbs have a throw-in. Robbie Sabo, who's done a great job this season, in and out of the first 11 with Calvin Kalua, who's picked up an injury. And it's just nipping at the heels of Khaleesi there, who does well to find Howison. Reed Drake's on him. And Rogers looking to put the ball in the box. heads on that one. Logan Rogerson almost opens up the scoring here at Madills Farm. And I wonder just how close that was.
Well, Khaleesi had the opportunity to get it wide to Dylan Manicum, who was by himself down that left-hand side for so long during the build-up of this play. And then the ball gets to Rogerson, flashes that ball into the near post. So Alfie Rogers flashes the ball into Logan Rogerson, who gets that glancing header wide of the post. Unfortunate there for Auckland City, but again, the aggregation of those opportunities and pressure starting to show.
Daniel Drake, the former Auckland City man himself, who was there for a number of seasons, but couldn't manage to push into the starting 11 and come across the Suburbs, and he's done a great job there along with his brother Reed Drake, as Eastern Suburbs won themselves a free kick.
That's right, recruited out of, I'm not sure which iteration of the Waikato franchise it was at that point. It was definitely preceded Hamilton Wanderers, but Daniel Drake spotted by the goalkeeping unit at Auckland City, and Yauzubi Karai, Tamati Williams definitely had great things to say about him and put him on the radar of Auckland City to recruit.
Nice play here from Eastern Suburbs. Brian Caltech on defensive duties there. And Eastern Suburbs couldn't keep it in. And it's a goal kick for the visitors.
And that's a name I was expecting us to say a little bit more often this afternoon. Stafford Dowling playing in that right back position, a very attacking minded player. Does love to get forward. I was expecting him to try and exploit the space that we know Rogers is going to leave behind as he does attack. That's the first glimpse. Hopefully we get more.
Stafford Dowling, a late addition into the starting 11. Josh Rogerson injured during the warm-up. Stafford Dowling thrust into Hawani Edwards' team to take on the current champions. And yeah, he's been a little bit quiet on that far side there, as the Lily Whites enjoying a spell of possession.
In fairness, he does have Dylan Manicum, Alfie Rogers and Cam Howison to take into account, so that defensive duty comes first and foremost.
A great intercept there from Al Khaleesi. Howison now. Riera. Back to Vale. They're looking forward though, Auckland City. A neat wee ball over top to Al Khaleesi, but well read there by Christian Gray. And Auckland City have a throw-in.
Oh, it just didn't look like he read it. That first step from Al Khaleesi was off. He could have taken off. It was a great ball in from Jordan Vale. And had he got it, he'd have been bearing down a Daniel Drake's goal with Dylan Manicum at that back post. So, just not quite in sync there from Yusuf Al Khaleesi.
Rogerson with a neat ball to Awad. Denied on that occasion. Adam Mitchell does well there to square up against Sinclair. Auckland City in the area. Vale's on the deck. And it's a goal kick.
Well, Jordan Vale asking the question there of referee Ben O'Connell. There did seem to be some contact. Of course, no VAR here in the ISPS HANDA Premiership.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. Edwards now with a little bit of time. Finds Ryan Foyts. Forced to go back as Eastern Suburbs just trying to find a way through. Howison up with the press. High ball coming in. And Brian Caltech does well. Al Khaleesi, Rogerson, he be called offside though. Not too far away from that one. Dowling. Back to Van der Heijden.
He hasn't looked out of place, has he, Narelle? Came in for Lisette, who's formed a really good combination with Gray at the back, and Van der Heijden has fitted in seamlessly.
And Cam Howison with a challenge on Reed Drake. Another challenge from Alfie Rogers. The referees looked like he was going to his pocket, and He wants a word with Alfie Rogers. And Sinclair looks to be changing shirts.
Yeah, quite a pleasant exchange between Alfie Rogers and Ben O'Connell. Perhaps just a word. Reached the half-hour mark, mate. We've gone through that period of flexibility provided in terms of yellow cards, and I'm sure Ben O'Connell will be expecting to.
He'll be dishing them out soon. He's done a really nice job to just let this game flow and play out, but perhaps a little bit of frustration building for Auckland City.
Yeah, it's a windy day. The field's not doing exactly what they want it to do, and they've had their opportunities. They feel like they should be 1-0 up at this point, I'm sure.
Drake with the free kick. Rogers does well there to control that one. Out to Vale, who's under a bit of pressure from Michelle. Howison.
The Eastern Suburbs press has not been effective. Auckland City's been able to do this time and again in the last 15 minutes. Dylan Manicum is loitering out on the left-hand side, and ball's coming through Jordan Vale and El Khaleesi often, and Auckland City are able to get it out, which means there's a lot of running for the Lily Whites to do.
Well, they do have the All Whites trainer, Coach Sons, on board, so I'm sure they've got their work cut out for them there. They're together 6 times a week, basically a semi-professional environment. There's Mitchell. Squares it across to Caltac, who's pushing forward. Howson out to Rogers, who's been busy down that left-hand side. Gets it back, looking for the ball across. Arwad's there. Gets a touch on it. But great defensive work by Robbie Sabo. Read the danger nicely.
Very important challenge on that front post after another wonderful ball in there from Alfie Rogers. Law of averages says that Dylan Manicum's going to get one of those in the back of the net by the end of the half.
A bit too high for Jordan Vale there. Chance for Eastern Suburbs just to break up the momentum. Take their time with this one. Just over the half-hour mark. Auckland City with the better chances so far. As Eastern Suburbs press again, putting Brown under pressure. Gets it out to Rogers. Caltac. Back to Howison. A lot of bodies on that left-hand side, but Rogerson's dispossessed. Drake. Back to Edwards. Michelle back to Dowling, out wide. The ball whips in. Adam Mitchell gets his head on that one. And it'll be a corner. Spoiler alert, in the match that's just finished up in the capital, Team Wellington have missed the chance to go to the top of the table, going down 2-1 to the Wellington Phoenix reserves.
They're 2-1 up at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see how that one goes.
And of course there's another game live right now on Sky TV, if you fancy that one, as the ball comes in. Oh, Ryan Foyt's there. Just didn't fall to him. And Adam Mitchell saved on that occasion. Well, I don't think we're going to get a result like yesterday. 3-3 between Waitakere and Canterbury.
It was goals, goals, goals yesterday, wasn't it? And 5-4 in the A-League between Western United and Perth Glory.
No one able to break the deadlock here at Madills Farm. There's Robbie Sabo. Well read by Awad. Cam Howson does well to release Dylan Manikim, who's got a lot of speed behind him. Dowling, though, putting up a good fight. He charges into the box and headed away. And Auckland City awarded another corner.
He is getting a workout down that right-hand side defensively, Stafford Dowling. That time, Dylan Manikim getting the best of him. Lovely touch. Again, looking to get that ball into that near post where Manikim himself has been occupying. But no one else making the run from Auckland City. Navy Blues there really pushing to open the door on Eastern Suburbs before halftime.
Al Khaleesi battling the corner flag there. As you see how strong the wind is. And referee just having a few words to the players in the box, as he's had to do so on many occasions. As the ball comes in, Brian Kaltak was up for it. Comes across to Awad, who sends it back in. A nice punch away from Drake. Only as far, though, to Howison. Oh, it's a nice piece of footwork there from the former All White. As Dan Edwards does well to get it off him and release Ryan Foyts, who doesn't have anyone else in front of him. Just wanting to get the ball up the pitch. Away from the danger. As Cam Brown looks to build it up from the back with Vale. Kaltak. Back to Mitchell. Looks to go long to Awad. It's Al Khaleesi. Unable to get it down on the deck. And Auckland City keep possession. And Mitchell, can he find a way through? Awad a bit too much on that one. The wind probably playing a factor. As Eastern Suburbs have the ball back. A dangerous challenge flying in from Logan Rogerson there. Puts his hands up in apology. Van der Heijden to Drake. As the results coming in from Hamilton. Hawke's Bay United beaten the hosts, as Eastern Suburbs enjoying a rare spell in the final third. Ryan Foyts with the corner kick. Reed Drake coming to, decide to go long. A great header from Adam Mitchell as Awad is on the ball. Rogerson's come across to the right. He was looking for Dylan Manikim, but didn't quite pull that off. But it doesn't take much for Auckland City. A few passes in down the other end of the pitch.
That's a constant threat there from Auckland City.
Ryan Foyts keeps possession. As Logan Rogerson goes down, and that's a dangerous tackle from Dan Edwards, who goes into the book.
Adam Thomas is asking there if that's a consistent approach there from referee Ben O'Connell, but I think that tackle was mistimed by Dan Edwards. Coming in over the top of the ball, and he's definitely caught Logan Rogerson. So, as we said, after the half-hour mark, referees do tend to let that leniency slide somewhat and start punishing tackles to make sure that they continue their authority of the game.
Yeah, well, Logan Rogerson was back in defence, helping out. Yeah, Dan Edwards probably not getting the control on that challenge he probably would have wanted, but Logan Rogerson's had to overcome quite a serious injury last year, breaking his leg in the Winter League from a challenge, well, not too dissimilar to that, so that's probably in the back of his mind.
Absolutely, and I think that challenge there from Dan Edwards is probably one where the studs have just gone down the front of the shin there from Logan Rogerson. So not a huge amount in it, definitely not malicious, but mistimed nonetheless.
Just receiving ice on what looks to be the right ankle. A chance for the teams to get some fluid in them, have a bit of a debrief as they look to play out the final 5 minutes of the first half.
I think Auckland City can feel like they've had the better of the first half. The Eastern Suburbs have definitely been in it for points, and as we see there, Danny was just making sure Logan Rogerson's okay. But I think Auckland City, again, can also feel frustrated that they haven't put the ball in the back of the net in a row.
Well, they are the joint leading scorers this season. They've scored 14 goals and have the best defensive record in the league, only conceding 8. So they'll be looking to keep up both of those records here today. But as we've said, they've just lacked a bit of finesse in the final third, as have Eastern Suburbs. Speaking with Hawani Edwards, the Lily Whites coach, during the week, and that's something that they've really tried to focus on, being more clinical when they do create these chances. But again, Auckland City have dominated the opportunities. Eastern Suburbs just taking a bit more time to get into the match, battling injuries and suspensions, as they were looking to break there, but not the best pass in.
And I suppose that's a good opportunity to acknowledge Cam Brown's contribution to the game. Hasn't done much in the last 15-20 minutes, but that save initially off Dan Edwards. As we said, not much backlift, a good strike from Dan Edwards, and Cam Brown pushed it away, keeping that clean sheet intact and allowing Auckland City then the opportunity to go on and assert themselves. So credit where it's due there from Cam Brown.
A bit too much on that one, as Eastern Suburbs have the throw-in. Thomas under a bit of pressure. The two captains going head-to-head. Sabo, Voits. Voits, who's really cemented his place and his name in the National League this season. His first, he's a product of Ole Academy. 2 goals for him. And big shoes to fill with their English winger Adam Thurston, who was their leading goal scorer with 5 out injured. And those responsibilities have fallen to Ryan Voits along with the other frontmen.
Adam Thurston's contribution to the Eastern Suburbs season has been even more impressive when you consider that he's been injured for a long time. So injured in that last game against Hamilton Wanderers. That being said, he is still the Golden Boot leader for Eastern Suburbs this season. So they're hoping to get him back as soon as possible.
Yes, and without Stephen Hoyle, big gaps missing up front.
Even more reason for Honey Edwards to hope that his team's going to be clinical today in front of goal Narelle. Those 2 threats, their absence is perhaps more notable from Auckland City's game plan than anything else.
Auckland City not happy with that decision, as the hosts awarded the throw-in, as the winds really started to pick up here in Auckland. You have a look at the flags in the back of the shot. So Eastern Suburbs will be playing with the wind. Auckland City, sorry, with the wind in the second half.
I think Auckland City's had the benefit of the wind in this first half. As you say, it has been swirling around and it's not been easy to judge. But I think it's definitely noticeable when you see Auckland City attack down that left-hand side and able to whip that ball into the near post. Alfie Rogerson hasn't had to do too much thinking about it and can trust his delivery in that regard. That might change in the second half. We might see more of Stafford Dowling, for example.
And the offside flag goes up. Logan Rogerson. As the Auckland City coach, Jose Figueira, looks very calm and composed on the bench, just having a few words with Ivan Visilic, perhaps plotting changes for the second spell, trying to find a way through this Lily White's defence and keep their place at the top of the table. It's Dylan Manicum showing off his fancy footwork, the futsal white. There's 1 minute of added time in the first half. You have to say both teams will just be looking to get to the break without conceding.
I think that'll be a pass mark for each team. Great work there from Alfie Rogerson, keeping that ball in play and forcing the throw from Eastern Suburbs. But yeah, you are right, Narelle. Both sides will be quite happy going in at 0-0. Jose Figueira will be reasonably happy with what he's seen from his side in terms of the chances created. Wants to get that one of those chances in the net, obviously, but the system seems to be working at this point.
And it looks like Auckland City have been awarded a free kick in the corner. Cam Howson's looking to take this one, whipping it in with his left. And you'd have to say one final chance in the first spell for Auckland City to...
Yeah, absolutely right, Narelle. This might almost be worth a shot. Treating this like a shot. A direct free kick by Al Khaleesi. The wind's going to take it in towards Daniel Drake.
I've got a two-man wall on the edge of the area.
You see there, Howson's gone away, so this indicates it's going to be probably a driven whip ball, if you will. I know that sounds like a oxymoron.
Al Khaleesi whips it in. Gray clears. And that was a great chance for Auckland City to find a way through. Approaching the end of the first half. Zawa takes it on down the right. Force back to Riera. And the referee blows for half-time. Here at Madills Farm, plenty of action, although nothing to show for it. As Eastern Suburbs and Auckland City head into the sheds at 0-0. We'll see you back here shortly for the second half. Hello and welcome back to Madills Farm, round 9 of the ISPS HANDA Premiership. Half-time between Eastern Suburbs and Auckland City, and it's 0-0, no one able to break the deadlock just yet. I'm Narelle Sindus, alongside me former All-White Jacob Spoonley. Jacob, what are you expecting from the second half?
Kia ora, Narelle. Hi, everybody. Second half, I think we can expect the teams to go for a bit more all gas, no brakes type approach. Eastern Suburbs definitely need the points, and with the other results that have already happened this afternoon, there's an opportunity for them to go out and grab the 3 points and move up that ladder, cementing themselves in the top 4. Auckland City want to run away with it though, nice and simple.
Right, and just on those results, just to clarify, the other game that's on right now on Sky Sports 7 between Team Wellington and the Wellington Phoenix Reserves, it's the Phoenix who are up 2-1 at the break, and earlier today Hawke's Bay defeated Hamilton Wanderers 4-1.
And that puts the cat right in amongst the pigeons there. Thought Hawke's Bay were dead and buried, but they are now above Hamilton Wanderers, if you believe, on the table.
And if Auckland City can manage to find their 4th straight win here, it will extend their lead at the top of the table. Make it very hard to catch now into the business end of the season. But they're going to need to pull off something here, Jacob.
Oh, there's a great chance for Alfie Roberts to send Dylan Manicum away. Chose instead to have a touch. Not punishing Stafford Dowling.
Dowling looks for Michelle. Howson involved. And free kick goes the way of the visitors as Dylan Manicum backs himself. A wee shove in the back from Drake. Bumps them off. And out it comes to Rogerson, who's offside again. That's at least the 3rd time this afternoon. Very frustrating for the All-White.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got Danny Hay and Darren Baisley down there. They're just off screen in that left-hand corner. So he's got an opportunity here to impress.
No pressure.
No, absolutely none. Also, Sky Sports' own Hiramaya Nata down there as well, in good company.
Yep, a massive match-up this in the context of the season. Yeah, Sinclair will be called offside.
And it's interesting, Narelle, if you look at this Auckland City against the side that competed in the competition last year, there's perhaps a lack of depth in the current squad that Jose Figueira has, as you said, tried to fix with the likes of Sam Brotherton and Kane Vincent coming in. But this time last year, they could have called upon the likes of Dylan Manicum coming into the side, and that would have obviously been for that would have been a substitute for someone like Clayton Lewis, who's gone on to bigger and better things. So that is something that variety that Auckland City have been able to call upon for a large majority of the ISPS HANDA Premiership existence.
Yeah, I think it's a very established starting lineup. You can almost pick it week in, week out. Apart from obviously the suspension to Mario Illich today. And Rogerson's really had to step it up, of course, playing alongside Maya Bevan last season, who's moved on to South Africa. Rogerson's got 4 goals this season, is their top scorer for the Navy Blues, and will be looking to add to his tally here this afternoon, although only giving himself about 45 minutes to do so, as Dowling prevails from that scramble and Drake looks to switch it up.
I think he's going to need more from his supply lines. Al Khaleesi perhaps needs to do more off the ball in terms of pressurising Eastern Suburbs and trying to create on that counter press. And then Cam Howison, he's a player that needs to get on the ball from Auckland City. He pulls the strings. Auckland City very fortunate to be able to call upon his services. Clearly a player of quality and improves the overall game in the ISPS HANDA Premiership. That said as well, Muhammad Awad, we saw him in patches for that first half. So Rogerson does have the ability to call upon several players to combine with to find the back of the net. I think we just need to start putting a little bit more pressure, demanding a little bit more of Auckland City.
Yeah, what do you think the words were from Jose Figueira at halftime?
I think more of the same, to be perfectly honest. He would have been happy apart from that first 10 minutes when Auckland City did give away a number of opportunities for Eastern Suburbs. And I think Hawani Edwards would be largely happy with what he's seen from his young charges, like you said in the first half. Hoyle is absent, Thurston is absent, so a lot of their goals and a lot of the headache for Auckland City isn't present here today at Madills Farm. However, we have seen great contributions from the younger players, the players that have had to step up and fill those shoes. So I think he'll have taken unlike Figueira, he'll have taken a lot of heart from that first 10 minutes and know that this Auckland City backline is one that can be got at.
I'll tell you what though, the intensity's definitely been lifted. Only 4 minutes into the second spell, especially down this near side. It's Alfie Rogers looking for some support. Rogerson's made the run. Back to Caltech. Finds Howison. Now Mitchell. Back to Caltech. Just taking their time. Trying to find a way through. As Michelle looks to apply the pressure.
And that's a much better press from Eastern Suburbs in the second half. They've really choked Auckland City, not able to get the ball high and beyond. The Eastern Suburbs press from their front six. They haven't been able to get that ball wide either, so a lot better there from Hoani Edwards' young chargers.
Van der Heijden on his starting debut. Back to Drake. And Dowling. It was some neat touch, one-touch football, but Al Khaleesi's fouled Thomas on that occasion. And a chance for Eastern Suburbs to reset and go again.
I don't think Figueira will be too unhappy about that. Al Khaleesi covering a lot of ground there to get pressure on Thomas to make sure he wasn't pulling the strings too much in that midfield.
And Dan Edwards up against Jordan Vale, sends it into the box. A lot of bodies behind that one.
Really decisive goalkeeping there from Cam Brown.
Awad looks to go over to Logan Rogerson. Wanting some support, just holding it up there nicely in the corner. Force back to Vale. Howson back in defence. That's a nice ball to Rogerson, who's got plenty of time and space to get the cross in. Awad tried to get on the end of that one, but in the end, routine save for Drake.
I was about to have a pop at Ryan Foyts here because he didn't backtrack at all. Al Khaleesi occupied Sabo. Sabo went with the run of Al Khaleesi, which was looking to cut across that back four. And that left Jordan Vale all by his lonesome on the right-hand side there from Auckland City. Ryan Foyt's nowhere to be seen, but it looks like Hoani Edwards is leaving the front three up. So Eastern Suburbs quite happy to defend with a 7. And that means that Auckland City are going to have to be very, very mindful about what Eastern Suburbs can do on the counter-attack.
How soon do you think we can expect some changes?
I think the league's looking pretty good in the second half. They'll be happy to have had that break in this rather windy and dry Auckland afternoon. But I think they're definitely coming.
Dowling. Force back to Drake, who has had to go on a bit of a run for that one. Well, one Drake to the other. And Reed Drake's fouled by Brian Caltech. Want to take it quickly here. Finds Michelle on the right. Cross comes in. Edwards is lining it up, takes a shot. Oh, couldn't get his head over that one. Doesn't trouble Cameron Brown, but a great opportunity for Auckland City.
Wonderful early free kick taken there by Reed Drake. Finds Michelle, who then picks out Dan Edwards on the top of that 18-yard box and takes the first time strike, putting that one over. Again, you don't want to give the players too much of an excuse there, but the wind definitely picking that one up. I think he was looking to make sure he got a nice clean strike on it, get it on Cam Brown's goal, but just was not able to do it. As you say, didn't keep his knee over the ball.
And I'm used to saying Auckland City chances, but the second half has really been Eastern Suburbs pulling the trigger on a few occasions as the offside flag goes up.
Yeah, it's definitely been apparent that the wind was perhaps playing more of a role in the first half than we were giving it credit for. Eastern Suburbs attacking down that left-hand side, as we saw Rogers and Rogerson do so effectively for Auckland City in the first half.
And it seems as though Cam Howson's playing a bit further forward in the second spell, and that's what you touched on earlier. He hasn't really been too involved in the game as of yet. So perhaps a little tactical change from Jose Figuera, dropping Al Khaleesi in the defensive midfield role.
Yeah, that's right, Narelle. He is a player that does have versatility. He can go box to box, or he can sit in the pocket and look to play balls around the corner in the number 10 position, or he can play deeper. And what we're seeing, I think, in the second half is, you're definitely right, he's looking, you can see there, just off screen rather, that he's playing in behind Reed Drake now. He wants to go and get that ball in a high position, wait for the ball to come to him, and then look to feed in the likes of Rogerson, who is already playing on shoulders. So Auckland City perhaps spying an opportunity there, some space in that Eastern Suburbs midfield.
And the flag goes up once again for Logan Rogerson. Who's been busy this afternoon for the visitors.
Oh, he has definitely upped his work rate in the second half, I think. He's been asked to empty the tank to try and get that goal, or let someone else come on and take advantage of what will hopefully be some tired Eastern Suburbs legs from the point of Auckland City. The other point to note is that in this flat front three that Eastern Suburbs have kind of emphasised now in the second half, is that Jake Michelle's playing right wing. He was playing up the guts in that first half, but now Kingsley Sinclair, not as physically intimidating as Jake Michelle, is playing through the middle. But coming back to your point about substitutes, Narelle, I think if anybody, it's going to be Auckland City that will go to their bench. Got the likes of Andrew Blake, Tom Doyle, Mauro Bonsu-Mauro. So if this deadlock does maintain, I think Auckland City will look to their substitutes bench to try and unlock it.
Thomas. Sabo now looking to switch it across to Van der Heijden. Long ball over the top. Rogers is beaten. And Michelle backing himself down the right-hand side. Cross comes in. Vale's got that one under control. But Drake's in there, and Riera can only clear it so far to Dowling. Calls for handball. Ben O'Connell's happy for play to continue.
I think Eastern Suburbs have to be a little bit careful there, Narelle. Sorry for that. But we saw it before the Christmas break down in Hamilton. They got rather frustrated. They wanted more calls from the referee than they got, and we're seeing that play out again. At half-time, they were asking the referee why they weren't getting certain decisions or why they weren't getting particular advantages. And we're seeing that again. So just something to keep your eye on. They don't want to be a man down here against Auckland City.
Awad switches it across to Manikim, who finds Awad again. A neat ball over to Howison. And an important touch there from Van der Heijden. There's a danger, not quite clear yet. Al Khaleesi back into Awad. Vale coming in support. And Sabo read that one nicely. And Christ is avoided.
Absolutely, and Van der Heijden can take a lot of credit for that. Wonderful interception there. At Cam Howison trying to find space on that left-hand side. Could have jinked inside to try and go at Daniel Drake's goal more directly. Ultimately got that really important touch there, and then marshalled his troops to make sure that they got that ball away. So well done from the young man.
Riera, great vision to find Vale. Awad wants it. Headed away by Gray. Vale opts to go for Al Khaleesi, as Dan Edwards showing his strength. Sinclair's up there. Waited nicely for Ryan Foyt, so he's in a bit of a tussle there with Adam Mitchell. And the two squaring up. Frustration's definitely mounting for both sides. As the referee tries to calm things down. But a great physical battle, nonetheless.
Absolutely.
As the referee.
I think that was Kingsley Sinclair that time. And again, as we touched on, frustration starting to boil over, and Kingsley Sinclair needs to make sure that he doesn't get involved in that sort of carry on with Adam Mitchell after the whistle.
Referee just laying down the law here, probably on their last warning, both of them.
Was Ryan Foyt, sorry for that. But yeah, Adam Mitchell did a wonderful job of marshalling Ryan Foyt there. Got his body in the way. Foyt got frustrated, decided to pull him aside, and Adam Mitchell as well. Really no need to go in after that whistle had gone.
They're feeling the pressure though, Auckland City. Eastern Suburbs just getting closer and closer. Wave after wave of attack. As Cam Howison on the last man here, and Dowling tries his best to keep that in. And Auckland City awarded the corner. Howison now, his turn to take it in front of All Whites coach Danny Hay. In the sunnies, in the hat.
Just making his way on the screen there. There we go.
And Darren Baisley watching on alongside him.
They would have gone for an afternoon stroll. Lives very close by, does Danny Hay.
Yeah, he's a regular face among these parts. It's Al Khaleesi with the corner. And Eastern Suburbs get a free kick in the box. Adam Thomas brought down. Looks to be taken quickly. Eastern Suburbs getting bodies forward. Michelle trying to keep that one under control, but outnumbered by Auckland City on that occasion. A great throw into Dan Edwards, who has a shot. An important touch from Cam Brown. That was a great opportunity for the Lily Whites.
And twice there we see the benefit of Heine Edwards leaving men up front. From that free kick, Adam Mitchell put his foot through the ball, found bodies further forward. Then Albert Area marshalled the ball over the sideline, but then again Auckland City switched off. And that led to that chance from Dan Edwards. And it looked to be a very small but important touch by Cam Brown.
Eastern Suburbs with the ball in, headed away by Mitchell. Cam Howson, strong left foot on that one.
Don't think there was any hesitancy there from Cam Howson.
He's continued his run, just pressuring Drake. And Foyt does well to keep that one in. And they'll go again, the hosts. Well, no movement on either bench yet. Coach is quite happy to let the men do the job for now. As Eastern Suburbs come again down the far side. A few too many nips from Al Khaleesi there. And Robbie Sabo to Thomas, who switches it up. Michelle tried to release it quickly for Drake. Well read though by Rogers, up against his former teammates.
There's a definite gear shift here though, you can feel it. Both sides looking to press more, also looking to break forward. Get that ball forward early or get a run in beyond, challenge the opposition.
Sinclair made the run but found its way to Dowling. Gets past Rogers on the edge of the area. Finds a way through. Riera clears, but Eastern Suburbs piling the pressure on. An excellent spell from the Lily Whites.
It has been, and that man, Adam Thomas, seems to be the person who's always on the ball when Eastern Suburbs are going through one of their phases where they are starting to get the better of Auckland City.
Drake now finds Sinclair. Oh, couldn't quite get the angle on that one. But it's been all Eastern Suburbs in the last 10-15 minutes.
It has. Kingsley Sinclair, great run off the shoulder there. And even though he decided to go for a shot, there was the opportunity to try and find a teammate. Michelle, Drake and Foyt all in the box there. So Eastern Suburbs definitely feeling like they've got something or they've seen something in Auckland City that they can try and exploit.
That's actually been a constant theme for them of late. they have no trouble in getting the ball to where it needs to be, but in that final third, they just can't find the clinical finish that they so desperately need. You can't help but think that's because the raft of changes to their front line, Stephen Hoyle, Adam Thurston, they have been doing it tough, but an excellent chance for the youngsters to really step up, make a name for themselves.
And who better to do it against than Auckland City?
Exactly. Michelle, one of those players, as Al Khaleesi takes it off Sinclair. Great challenge in from Dowling. Almost found its way into the commentary box. Good thing I'm next to a goalkeeper.
Yeah, thank you.
Caltech looking for an option. Forced to Mitchell. Out wide to Rogerson. Manages to keep that in. Vale now. Riera. A nice wee dink back to Rogerson. Plenty of bodies back in support though for Eastern Suburbs. Given it's a makeshift backline, they're very disciplined.
And that man Sabo has had a much better game today than he did against Hamilton Wanderers before the Christmas break. Looked nice and solid, made some good decisions, tried to play where he can, but at the same time realised that he's got to defend against an all-white and Logan Rogerson.
Yep, definitely has his work cut out for him. There's Howison now. He's looking for Rogers. Drake's not giving him any space. As Drake emerges out of that pack with the ball. Al Khaleesi dragged him down.
I can see what Ben O'Connell was looking at there. Not sure if that was deserving of a yellow card, but can understand why it was given. And then we see here, Alfie Rogers gone down, being looked after by his mate off the field, Daniel Drake, two Hamilton boys.
Yeah, looks to be clinging his ankle there. Hopefully nothing too serious.
No, it has been a problem for Alfie Rogers in the past. Something that Auckland City physio Matt Payne will be taking a closer look at. Having said that, though, they do have a wonderful replacement on the bench in Tom Doyle. The former Wellington Phoenix player is someone that could step into that left-back void should Alfie Rogers have to go off.
Rogers bringing up his 50th appearance for Auckland City last week. I did actually message him to say, you know, what side do you prefer to play on? And he said, like Robbo, Andy Robertson, Liverpool fullback. I was like, all right, gotcha.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely a very left-sided player. Has played on the right-hand side for Auckland City in the past. Ramon Trabilic, actually the first coach to give him the opportunity there. He's coming off the field, so we'll give him a few moments to settle himself and see what happens. Looks like he should be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, originally from England, but he probably classes himself more as a Kiwi now. He's been with the club since 2015. 2 National League titles, 2 Oceania Champions League titles. Very decorated player, and he's made his way back onto the field, Alfie Rogers. That's Robbie Sabo, takes on Rogerson. Gets past a few. Intervention of Riera stops him in his tracks. Michelle wanting it. A nice header down to Drake. Gives it back. And Riera's in the right place at the right time for that one. And Awad umps off the challenge from Michelle.
And Rogerson needs to get up the field here. That ball might be coming. You can see Adam Mitchell telling him, no point hanging out on that right-hand side if the ball's down the left. He needs to get that work rate up. Otherwise, there might be the hook coming from the sideline to give another player an opportunity.
Adam Mitchell. Out to Awad. Stafford Dowling cleans that one up. And Gray charging forward. Rogerson almost pulled that one off. Al Khaleesi somehow got that back. Rogerson's onside. Awad's in support. Cross comes in. A great save by Daniel Drake to deny Awad.
Oh, that is the second huge save from Daniel Drake this afternoon. First one off Manikim in that first half, but very, very similar opportunities. Done ever so well to stand up on both. Forced the play to try and beat him, and on both occasions they've failed.
And the challenge coming in from Reed Drake gives away a free kick to Auckland City.
On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see Logan Rogerson
lurking.
Wondering what he's got to do to try and get the ball past Daniel Drake, but very frustrated having put that ball on a tee for Muhammad Awad.
He's not the biggest keeper, Daniel Drake, but he does well.
Absolutely, and this all came off the back of Yusuf El-Khalisi winning that ball off Christian Gray. Auckland City then looked to exploit, pulling Sabo and Van der Hayden across and allowed Muhammad Awad the space. Just could not get that ball in the back of the net. And here we go. Here's our first substitute of the second half, as you've been asking for it, Narelle. Clifford is coming on eventually.
Looks to be Stafford Dowling, who wasn't actually meant to start this game. He's got some important minutes under his belt. As Clissold comes into the plate, around about a set piece time. I thought there was a sort of rule with that you don't make a sub on a set piece, but anyway.
No, absolutely.
Run straight into the wall.
I would not have been happy with that. It means you've got to change things at the last minute. Let's see if Auckland City can take advantage of it.
El-Khalisi doesn't get much height on that one. Almost finds the back of the net off the Lily Whites player, Reed Drake. But swept up by his brother, Danyon.
Again, another important intervention there from Daniel Drake. This time, a little bit softer for him.
And that was a great ball through to Ryan Foyts, who almost did enough. As Mitchell looks to find Rogerson. Vale. Rogerson coming back in support. Dylan Manikim's lurking. Great composure though from Van der Hayden. As Eastern Suburbs coming down that left-hand side again, outnumbered by the Navy Blues. The visitors really aren't giving them any space at all. And Awad looks to have kicked the ball away in frustration, or perhaps just felt like it, so he's into the book as well. And Eastern Suburbs with the throw-in. Drake, long throw into the box. Clissold. Oh, big shot coming in from Christian Gray. Almost helped on by Brian Foyts. I didn't know too much about that.
The game has definitely got a little bit more direct in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Starting to see fatigue set in that midfield. Not much movement off the ball. And a lot more pressure allowed to be exerted because of that slow ball movement.
Dan Edwards now charging in, pulls the trigger, high and wide again. And in the capital, Team Wellington have found an equaliser, so 2-2 against the Wellington Phoenix reserves. Team Wellington managed to find 3 points. They will go to the top of the table. Auckland wanting all 3 here to maintain their spot.
And it looks like Jack Henry Sinclair has made his way onto the field in the capital, so great news in that regard from a rather awful injury that he did sustain earlier in the winter season.
Clissold to Drake, who's shifted across to the right, looks for the return to Clissold. Edwards now on the ball, pulls the trigger again, and goes wide. Cam Brown looked to have hesitated a little bit.
Yep. O'Connell there confirming that it took a deflection, which would not have helped Cam Brown. But Auckland City looking to get, well, they are looking like they do need some fresh legs in that midfield. There's a lot more space for Eastern Suburbs to start taking the ball, getting at that Auckland City midfield and backline now, and that's creating chances. Dan Edwards has had a couple of shots in the second half. As we see, bang on cue, Ivan Vislic is bringing a little piece of white paper to fourth official Charlie Singh.
Reid Drake with the corner. Great ball in. Caltech's up. He's superb in the air. Ryan Foyts with the ball back across and
there's a lot of space for Auckland City to take on here. Cam Brown looking at the opportunity, deciding Logan Rogerson wasn't in the best spot. So not the odds that he was looking for there. Instead choosing to build up play.
Mitchell across to Caltech. Rogers. Intervened there by Suburbs captain Adam Thomas. That's great. Oh, nice ball to Michelle, who manages to keep it in. Not the easiest one to control. Tries a bit of fancy footwork.
Yeah, a little bit too confident there from Michelle. Wonderful first touch, though. Bring that ball down. The extra pace that the wind is creating, and it looks like Maru Bonsumaru, Narelle.
Yes, Michelle has some space. Just overcooked that one a wee bit. And here comes the first change for Auckland City. Yusuf Al-Khalisi coming off in place of Maru Bonsumaru. Fresh legs. Final 15 minutes. He's a dangerous player.
Absolutely. Knows the way to the back of the net, does this boy. Good shift today from Yusuf Al-Khalisi. Been a real engine room for Auckland City. Got through a lot of kilometres. Kept quiet, the likes of Reid Drake, Adam Thomas and Dan Edwards, so earned his spell on the bench. Looks like Dylan Manikin's gone in to fill his spot in that midfield.
Cleared away by Clissold. Maru Bonsumaru, his third season at the club, finds Rogers to Rogerson, sends the ball back. Awad now, Riera on the edge of the area. Howson opts for Manikin. Manikin being allowed to dance his way across. Gets it back. Will he pull the trigger? He does, and he finds the back of the net. Dylan Manikin breaks the deadlock and gives Auckland City a 1-0 lead midway through the second spell, and you just felt it was coming.
Absolutely. We weren't sure which end it was going to come from. Eastern Suburbs have had their chances. They haven't been able to put those away, and this time a sustained period of pressure by Auckland City. Patience on the edge of the box by Dylan Manikin and Cam Howson leads to this chance for Dylan Manikin to tuck that one away. Really assertive build-up play there from Auckland City. Patience from them this afternoon up against a very stout Eastern Suburbs side.
Dylan Manikin, his fourth goal of the season. Equal now with Logan Rogerson for the Golden Boot Award in the club. And now it's all on Eastern Suburbs to find a way back into the match to salvage a point. But Auckland City do like to score their goals late on in matches. Another stat for you, Jacob.
Absolutely. As we touched on in the first half, Eastern Suburbs do rely on their work rate and their ball retention quite a bit to break down the majority of opponents in the ISPS HANDA Premiership. Auckland City do employ a rather similar system. We've seen that bear fruit today. Patience and quality, the two key elements there from Auckland City.
Jordan Vale. Bonsumaru. Awad showing his pace.
was his work rate, Bonsumaro, that did play a bit of a cameo in that build-up from Auckland City. It wasn't in the latter stages of that, but he definitely broke the line initially down this left-hand side off a ball from Brian Kaltak, and that then led to the ball developing out right. So you'd love to see that from the Auckland City bench.
Yep, a great change by Jose Figueira, one that's definitely paid off as Cam Howison finds himself up front. Bumps Adam Thomas off the ball. And a bit too much on that challenge. Look, 50-50 to me. But Eastern Suburbs with the free kick.
I'm not sure we're going to see too much by way of change from Eastern Suburbs as we head into this last part of the match. Again, they'll be relying on their system. They've created chances. It's just now a matter of being confident that you'll continue to create chances and you'll take one when it does come.
For Auckland City now, though, Jacob, do you protect the lead that you've got, or do you try build on that in case Eastern Suburbs do manage to snatch one back and then it's basically starting all over again?
Well, that's a really good question, Narelle, and that's largely why coaches do get put in the position of the decision-making. So not sure which way Jose Figueira is going to flip that coin, but Andrew Blake here, done his hair and he's ready to come on in the second half.
I did notice his hair. As Rogers to Howison, who's dropped back in more of a defensive midfield role now, Howison.
Yeah, and that's that game management that you were touching on there, Narelle. I think we're going to see now from Cam Howison, talking about in the context of this game, he's going to occupy that Adam Thomas role when Auckland City are building up play, and he's going to have a lieutenant alongside him in the likes of Albert Riera. So look for Auckland City to really start slowing the game down. I don't think they'll be defensive necessarily, but they will look to control the ball for longer periods than we've seen them over the course of the game.
Reed Drake. Ryan Foyt's offside is the call. Eastern Suburbs not slowing down though, as Auckland City make their second change of the afternoon.
This is a like-for-like swap. Jordan Vale coming off, slowly trotting across to the sideline, making sure he takes up as much time as possible. And Andrew Blake will go into that right back position. So no change of formation from Auckland City. This is just going to be the introduction of fresh legs into that right back spot.
Definitely to try combat Ryan Foyt, who doesn't look to be tiring at all.
Cutting a rather frustrated figure down that far side. And you're right, Narelle. Absolutely looking for Andrew Blake's experience and his energy to nullify Ryan Foyt for the rest of the 90.
Kaltak goes direct to Rogerson, who manages to stay on side on this occasion. Drives into the edge of the area, almost doubles the advantage, just flashes across the face of goal. Not much Daniel Drake could have done about that one. And Rogerson frustrated.
Is again asking the question, this time of Mauro Bonsumaro. But Mauro Bonsumaro had done everything right there. Logan Rogerson broke the line. Mauro Bonsumaro held off, waited for the run. And then as he saw Logan Rogerson looking to deliver the ball, he darted across that near post. And there was no one on the back post there. So Muhammad Awad and Dylan Manikim not able to get forward and support to tap that one in.
Logan Rogerson desperate for a goal this afternoon. He's been busy and he doesn't look to be slowing down as Awad gets that one under control. Back to Riera, who gives it to Drake. Thomas now looking for Ryan Foyt, and here comes the intervention of substitute Andrew Blake. And Brian Kaltak to Riera.
That time Cam Brown putting Adam Mitchell under unnecessary pressure there. Ball should have gone into Andrew Blake. He was the odd man out from Eastern Suburbs' point of view. They weren't able to put a man on him, and he was sitting there freely in their right back position. Ultimately, not doing too much by way of a disadvantage for Auckland City as they keep the ball. And then we're going to see another change here from Eastern Suburbs. Also, Ingham coming on. An exciting young player this man is. Another Olay Academy product.
There's Logan Rogerson. Tries his luck again. Mauro Bonsumaro tries to turn and shoot. But bodies back there for the Lily Whites. As Michelle taking on Howison and Rogers. Rogers giving away the free kick. And the referee allowing the...
Oh, I've got two players down here. Adam Mitchell looking like it might be a bit of cramp, if anything, and Jake Michelle. So he got a dirty, great big stud from Alfie Rogers there on his big toe. The tired challenge from Alfie Rogers there. And here we see the goal again. Not the goal, rather the opportunity. Bonsu Maru could have laid that one off to Manikim, who had the dead run on goal. Auckland City having numbers forward there, and that time perhaps not demonstrating the patience that they showed when they did score.
Captain Adam Thomas on the ground receiving treatment. This is his first game back since the middle of December, picking up a red card, serving his suspension, and probably just getting used to being back riding around the paddock.
Absolutely, match fitness is something that is easily lost but hard to come by. We'll keep an eye on him as well. He's a player in the past who has struggled with injuries. Likes of knees and groins have been an issue and kept him from developing what was a very promising career when he was a younger player playing with Auckland City.
Yeah, went to the 2012 Olympics, came up against the likes of Neymar, who wasn't a huge name back then. And like you said, injuries keeping him out of full-time football for about 6 years. As Eastern Suburbs have made the third change of the afternoon. Otto Ingham, as you mentioned, Jacob, the 21-year-old coming on. 18-year-old, rather. Both young ages, so.
Too many stats there, I had to pick between them. But yeah, you're right. Young player, really cultured left foot, if you want to use another cliche. But a player that's diminutive in stature, but very, very intelligent. Great positioning, and then also great in a one-on-one 1v1 situation. Knows how to get space, knows how to manipulate a defender. So will present a danger for the likes of Alfie Rogerson in this last 5 minutes.
Yep, time running out though for Eastern Suburbs. Desperately needing to find a way back into this match. They haven't managed to beat Auckland City in the competition ever. And now they'll try salvage a point. Vital to their playoff hopes. 4th place at the start of the weekend. As down in the capital, Team Wellington have gone in front 3-2 against the Wellington Phoenix Reserves. But if Auckland City manage to hold on to their 1-0 lead here and secure 3 points, they will remain top of the table. There's Thomas back to Van der Heijden. Great. Awad dashing in there. Alfie Rogers.
And that table was looking quite compressed there for the first couple of weeks of 2021, Narelle. But now it looks like Auckland City and Team Wellington are going to create a 2-horse race, as we have seen in previous years for the title for the last season of the ISPS HANDA Premiership, as we currently know it.
You'd have to say a bit of redemption on the cards here, though. Eastern Suburbs, 2019 champions. The 2020 season was suspended, so they didn't really get the chance to defend their title, it being awarded to Auckland City, who were top at the time of suspension. And you just think they'd want to get it back off the Navy Blues this season. As you said, the last one.
Yep, no, you're right. And it looks like they're going to drop out of the top 4, as Hawke's Bay United have come from nowhere in the first couple of weeks when they looked like they were going to be off the pace. They weren't picking up points, and I think now they'll slip into that 4th spot, having overtaken Hamilton Wanderers with that 4-1 result yesterday.
Today. As Auckland City just wanting to close out the game. Giving away a free kick though, and not bad position. And I believe Brian Caltek's just been put into the book. The 3rd Auckland City player to receive a yellow card today. As It looks to be Sinclair on the ground in a little bit of pain. And he gets up and walks it off.
Auckland City again going to the bench here. Aidan Carey on the sideline. I'm sure Chris Bright will be somewhere in Auckland with a smile on his face. A player that he put a lot of time and investment into as part of the Auckland City Academy system.
Well, they're trying to make the substitute Auckland City. The number's for 24 though.
Not quite sure who that is, but let's take a moment here. Aidan Carey wearing the number 15 of the man that occupied that number for such a long time there, Ivan Visilic. So great little passing of the baton there. Lovely moment for the young man who will come on for Mohamed Awad. And try and secure the points for Auckland City.
Awad's had a sensational game, but nothing to show for his efforts. So let's see if the substitute can make an impact. Not long left to do so.
A lot of tall timber from Eastern Suburbs here at that back post. Reid Drake will look to utilise the wind to get this ball into a very dangerous position in between Cam Brown and that Auckland City backline.
Eastern Suburbs looking to level up the scoring. And they have done. It looks to be an own goal from Auckland City. And the hosts have found a way back into the game at the death. 1-1, heading into 5 minutes of stoppage time.
And we're going to see the replay here. Reid Drake let this ball stand up. It hung up in the wind, came towards goal. Cam Brown not looking to come off his line.
And I think Adam Mitchell got the final touch on that one. Unfortunate. And all set for an intense final 5 minutes. At the moment, the points are shared. As Riera puts in a dangerous challenge to Sinclair. Referee plays advantage. As Eastern Suburbs work their way into the area. Oh, and a bit too much on that from Robbie Sabo. The crowd getting right behind the team here.
Oh, they are flying forward now in this final phase of the game. Eastern Suburbs went from being 1-0 down, not getting much by way of opportunity, and they've had 2 chances in the last 2 minutes. Forcing Adam Mitchell to put that ball in the back of the net, and then Sabo that time. Flashing a shot, high, wide and handsome of Cam Brown's goal, but again, a great opportunity created.
Rogerson trying to find Mario Bonsamaro. Ingham now manages to get through Caltech. Challenge was okay, says the referee. Oh, and it's all kicking off now, Jacob.
It is. This will be fireworks for the last few moments here. Eastern Suburbs are up off the bench at every opportunity that they get. They're looking to get at Auckland City, and as you say, Narelle, get that first win in the competition against the Navy Blues. They won't do so like that. Cam Brown this time get his hands on the ball and look to take the sting out of the game.
Well, just as Auckland City look to have secured the 3 points in the bag and settle the game down, they're back to square one and look to get bodies forward as Rogerson, who's probably deserved a goal today.
He's done very well, and he's created a number of opportunities for the Auckland City side. Rightly can be frustrated that no one's made that run at the back post on several occasions to tap in at the end of his hard work.
Oh, Ryan Caltech. Strong header there. As Eastern Suburbs look to make another change.
You might be wondering what the name of the player is that's coming on. And apparently it's too long to fit on an Eastern Suburbs shirt. It is Lang McConnell.
He's just been promoted from the youth team this week. Eastern Suburbs not looking outside of the club for recruitments. And a special moment for Dylan Lang McConnell, who gets a few minutes of action here against the defending champions. Rogerson fires it into Clissold and hands it over to Rogers. As Auckland City shut down there by the substitute. The long-range shot comes in from Ryan Foyts. A great effort, but a bit too much on that one. But Eastern Suburbs looking for all 3 points here.
Oh, it's been all Eastern Suburbs in the last 2 minutes. They're pressing, is creating opportunities. It looks like Auckland City have got the worst of the fatigue, and Eastern Suburbs can really smell blood now.
Rogers demanding the ball. Thomas gets back up. A lot of bodies back though for the white shirts, and back to Caltech, who goes direct for Dylan Manicum. Steered away by Gray as Rogers reads the play nicely. Cam Howison turned over possession momentarily as Brian Caltech's charging forward to Rogers. Clissold with an excellent challenge as Caltech finds Manicum. Manicum darting into the box, showing off his fancy footwork. And still, Dylan Manicum looking to get past Sabo. It'll be a goal kick as Adam Thomas down again with cramp.
Just too much there. Too tired, Dylan Manicum.
And that's it. The referee calls for full time. The points are shared here at Madills Farm between Eastern Suburbs and Auckland City. And Auckland City taking the advantage on the 77th minute mark through Dylan Manicum. And Eastern Suburbs answered back at the death. An own goal from Adam Mitchell. 1 point apiece. And it's been an entertaining 90 minutes here in Auckland, Jacob.
Absolutely. Auckland City there did well to get ahead. Hard work from Logan Rogerson created the opportunity. That put them 1-0 up. They looked like they were cruising. They were managing the game well. And then from a set piece, and I think there'll be questions asked of the Auckland City backline and Cam Brown as to how they managed that situation, and that led to the goal and gave us that 1-1 full-time result.
Well, thank you very much for joining us wherever you're watching here on Sky Sport Next. As the full-time score here from Madills Farm, Eastern Suburbs 1, Auckland City 1.